because most of us get into ministry because there are things we think we're supposed to have.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed. I was angry because here's the thing: I served for 25 years.
Yeah.
And there was no reward. And I think it's important to understand the grace, because you could overstay a space that you're not supposed to be in. And it used to be good. Today or yesterday, he gave us this day our daily bread. I said, but why are you not giving me 1, 2, 3, 4? And he asked me a simple question. He said, did you ask me? Or were you complaining about it? Because there's a difference.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. This is Love, Marriage, and Family Podcast. And my name is Mo. And of course, I'm with this beautiful, vivacious lady over here. Her name is Pindi.
Hello, everybody. We are excited actually to come back again for another episode of Love, Marriage, and Family Podcast. We always have to check because someone has been going love, family, and marriage.
Yeah, someone.
Like, mixing things up. But we are too excited, guys, to be coming back to you. Thank you so much for the love of the channel.
And the marriage.
Love of the channel. Thank you for your subscriptions.
Yeah.
Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for your suggestions. There's been quite a number of suggestions.
Yeah.
One of those suggestions has been, can you drop the episode on Thursday? Much earlier.
Yes, not Friday.
Not Friday.
Yeah, at night.
And we hope our production will be happy with that. It's going to be coming on Thursday now. I think 3 p.m. we said.
3 p.m., yeah.
Instead of Friday.
Friday at 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Someone was like, no, 8 p.m. guys, that's too late. But yeah, we do listen to all your suggestions. So that's one of the suggestions that we will be implementing going forward. But yeah.
Also, we will be listening. We'll be, what's the word you have to use? We'll be, did you say listening to your suggestion?
We'll be taking your
Oh,
suggestions.
yes. We'll be taking, maybe not all your suggestions, but certainly a lot of them as well. But where we would want your suggestions also is the people that we have and host in this podcast. And there's been quite a number of people, awesome people that we always have here. And if you also have people that you feel like, the podcast, what it's about.
They deserve to be here.
Oh, that word is such an expensive word. Deserve.
It's because I know the caliber of people that they want to watch.
Yes, of course, because you're familiar with the podcast as well. Please drop us, a line on the comment section, and please stop dating us, marry us as well by subscribing to the channel, as well. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman that we've been speaking. We've been friends on Facebook for ages, and we've been commenting, and we would debate, and
like you know each other,
we know each other in person, and so he's been so gracious to allow us this pleasure of this conversation today, and he's none other than Stephen Molakeng. To some of you, he is Bishop Stephen Molakeng. To some of you, he is Dr. Stephen Molakeng. But he's been around. He's been around the music industry for ages. And actually, I want us to start there, with our conversation. First of all, welcome. Before we start there.
Thank you so much for having me. I've seen everybody that sits on the set.
Yes.
They have this thing of sitting like this. So allow me.
By all means.
Please, go ahead. We do it proper here.
Culturally.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
You are doing well.
Yeah,
you are doing well. You see, I told you, there's a caliber of people that we have.
Understand.
But I think before we get to the music, because the music is going to be long. Because I was looking at your work.
The body of work is quite thick.
I was like,
and for many people, will be quite ignorant of that. There are those obviously who would interact with music on a daily basis, whose career it is, they would know. But a lot of people who perhaps would know you from Gospel Gold, perhaps they would box you there, you know, alone.
yeah.
And they don't understand the long resume,
Yeah.
you know, around music. But sorry, I interjected.
No, I did not want us to just jump to music.
Yeah.
Because we want to know you firstly as a person.
Okay.
Because I think one of the things that you've done so well,
Very well.
very, very well, was to keep yourself private.
Yeah.
You know, people know you, but there's little that they know.
Yeah.
In terms of, okay, where is he from? You know, where did he grow up? Where was he born? I think for me, I'm really keen on that because you'll show everything
where
else.
Is it born?
That's a very good thing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I was actually born not far from here.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Tembisa.
Oh, cool.
So I grew up there until, because we are old, right? So ours was not standard, it was form.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I know those are talking grade. I think I was doing until I was Form 1.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I moved to Soweto to my grandparents' place. So I lived in Soweto. So I've got a dual citizenship of Tembisa and Soweto.
Okay, that's
and
quite
I finished
interesting.
my high school in Soweto.
In Soweto.
So, so I was born there. It's quite interesting if you think about it, what actually brought me to Soweto.
Yeah.
I was in Tembisa. I think my first impression of music was through Bishop Benjamin Dube. So I
yes.
saw him in Tembisa when I was still young. And I was like, one day I'm going to sing with that guy. What it takes.
Wow.
So I left Tembisa to go to Soweto with the hopes and aspirations that I'm going to join Bishop Benjamin Dube's choir or something. And it took me 3 years to do that. So, and I eventually
But Bishop Benjamin is from the East. When you went to Soweto for
Bishop
that?
Benjamin Dube lived in Midlands. He was born in Midlands.
Okay, so he later
He moved
to the East.
But
Okay.
originally he's from...
That's where
he
he basically started.
Yeah, so 2 things actually drove me there. It was my first time seeing Bishop Benjamin Dube and Bishop Gladstone Botwana, because Bishop Benjamin Dube used to be a musical director at Bishop Gladstone Botwana's church in Pimville. So I loved the preaching. I was attracted to the preaching and the music.
Yes.
That's actually what brought me to Soweto.
That actually became your home as well.
Yeah.
You know, your spiritual home.
That was my spiritual
And then
home.
it took you 3 years though.
It took me 3 years. I think I was scared. I didn't know how to go there first. It's funny how life will find you. Because what happens is my cousin's sister met Bishop Benjamin Dube in town and said, can I come for the audition?
Yeah.
And she came back and said, Bishop says I must come. Can you accompany me to play keyboards? Because I used to play keyboards. So I studied music originally. So I played keyboards for her. But I was singing. And it so happened that week Bishop needed a keyboardist and a vocalist.
Look at God.
And my sister was taken for the choir.
Yeah.
But I was taken for the Bishop had a choir.
Yeah.
And a small group called the Witnesses, which was the traveling group with him.
Was that a musical group?
It was, it was called the Witnesses.
Yes,
so it was Benjamin Dube and the Witnesses.
And the Witnesses, okay.
Yeah, so there was a Love Africa choir which he was building. So and then, but I joined the Love Africa choir, but also then I joined the small group. So we were about, I think, 3 singers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I'll do keyboards and microphones.
And
so that's how it happened. And I was skinny back then.
Okay.
Still am I okay? I was,
When you
Skinnier
say
than
you were
this?
skinny,
I was 28.
28.
But
So
you are 30 now, so what's the difference?
32.
You see? 32. Okay, that's
Not
it's a
too
lot.
far.
I'm filled
Yeah,
with
it's
envy,
too much.
by the way. I'm filled with envy.
So, and you can imagine how long it took for me. I'm 54 this year. So
Yeah.
I've turned 54
You are
years.
kidding me.
Yeah.
So I've turned 54 years of age now. So, yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
You are taking care of yourself.
No, you were literally.
We'll
you're-
get into that.
You are
The
taking.
only thing that speaks is my...
We'll get
You
into
are
that.
really taking good care of it. So you obviously went to high school at in Soweto.
In Soweto, yeah.
And how long, or did you go to university immediately thereafter, or did you take a break?
Mine
or-
was quite interesting
Yeah.
with music because what happened is after I left school, high school, I immediately went to a music school.
Yeah.
The same year. But because I was self-taught, immediately I joined the third years in my first year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we started traveling. We went to live in London for some time, student exchange. So I was living and studying music for a long time.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I lived in London for some time, and then I came back with students. Yeah, it was quite an interesting journey because I think my first trip overseas was through school band, school
Yes.
musical band. So and I was studying jazz. So we did that. It took me a long time to actually now go to varsity because immediately after that, that's when I started professional music. Joined Sweetwater Manzimtoti.
Yes.
So with them Tunes in Number.
Tunes in Number and Felicia Marion. And then from there, it pivoted to Joyous Celebration. No, Family Factory.
Before that, Family
Family
Factory.
Factory. Then it pivoted to Joyous Celebration. And then there was...
And then Redeemed, obviously.
Then Redeemed, then,
Yeah, let's talk about the Sweetwaters. Because the lady who you guys used to sing with,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Is that what
Felicia.
I used
Felicia
to love that
Marion.
music, you know?
Paradise is always...
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, what happened to her? Where is she?
I think she's still based in South Africa. We used to speak a bit in Facebook, but she
Yeah.
used to move around. Sometimes she would be in the States.
Oh.
Because originally how we did that
Is she
first
from,
project. Yeah, she's from
here?
South, she's
Okay.
from South Africa. She's from Durban originally.
Is it?
Yeah, but she was living here. Actually, it's very interesting. 'Cause as I was coming here, I remember our days around Hillbrow and Melvin because she used to have a house in Melvin.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So we used to rehearse there. So I was passing, it was like,
Wow.
wow, great
Yeah.
memories just coming here and remembering those
Yes.
days. Yeah, so that's how it happened.
So how did that come about? Because I thought that was such a powerful trio
That was,
that you guys had. Because
Yeah.
it was yourself, Bishop Benjamin Dube, eh?
Okay,
Who
before
was-
we even got there.
No, it
so-
was in
yeah,
Tunes in
Tunes in
Number.
Number,
Tunes in Number.
Yes.
So how that happened is that while we were singing with Bishop Benjamin Dube,
Yeah.
The backup singers for Bishop Benjamin Dube, it was me, Vicky Vilagazi at some point,
Yeah.
and Margaret Mutzach. So Vicky came and said, "There's a new band forming." And we knew Mtunzi because Mtunzi Number also used to play
Yes,
piano from time to
yes,
time
yeah.
for Bishop Benjamin Dube. So they said, there's a new group coming.
Yeah.
It's called Sweetwater Manzimtoti. They're looking for singers. I remember I was the last one to leave. I was very loyal to Bishop. I remember I was the last one to leave.
Hell, I remember
didn't
you
know how
fought.
to-
You
I
fought,
fought for
you
this
to be with the
place.
Bishop, guys.
Yeah, so now all of
3
a
years
sudden,
yonke.
oh my word. So now I had to leave. But yeah, that's how it happened. So originally they were a duet.
Okay.
But
Oh, okay.
they were a duet, Mtunzi and Felicia.
And Felicia,
Yes.
But it grew with the original album has them.
Okay.
As a duet.
two of them, yeah.
The two of them. We were backup singers. But it
Okay.
automatically then became a group somehow because then we'll start doing, when we were touring, we'll start doing your songs. What do you want to do? I think that's how Family Factory was birthed.
Yeah.
From that aspect of what do you want to do? What can you do? What's your style of music?
Yeah.
What do you want to record? There was a guy called Lloyd. I think he was in the States. He wanted to record each of us, for a solo project
Individually, yeah.
individually. And eventually then we realized we worked very well together as a group. So we started from the 3 to 4 to 5, and then eventually it was 15 with Family Factory.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. And then when you say it pivoted to Joyous, does that mean it turned from being Family Factory, or you guys left Family Factory to begin? Because you are the founding member
Of
Yeah,
Family
of Joyous,
Factory.
yeah.
Of Joyous,
Of
yeah.
Joyous, yes.
So eventually, Joyous Celebration wasn't meant to be a group. It was just we were celebrating the rebirth of South Africa from, so Joyous Celebration was meant to be a joyous occasion,
Got you.
Oh, it was supposed to be an event.
an event.
Yes. Yes.
So from 15 we became 30 in terms of, the singers. And eventually it was like, oh, this is working. I remember very well we did the first project, the second we didn't.
Yeah.
And then we continued with the third.
Yeah.
I think Naboni reaction because Pella, I now remember guys. Joyous
I
one.
remember
Joyous
Joyous.
two,
I
Joyous
remember.
three.
I remember.
And I think every time, to be honest, when we saw Joyous one, it was like, oh, this is beautiful. This is nice.
And you remember
And I'm sure
just
Nani-
one, just one had Mum Sbongile Kumalo,
Yes.
Bishop Benjamin Dube,
Yes,
because
yes.
it wasn't a group, it was a concept.
Yes.
So
It was,
eventually
yeah.
then it pivoted to, oh, this is working.
Yeah.
So the team of the people that you would have at that time, because it was easy to travel with, we're compact.
Got you.
So, and we didn't really want money that much.
Yeah.
Yes,
We didn't,
yes.
we didn't care for
Back
nothing.
then,
So
yeah.
it was, music was our passion at that time.
Yeah.
I remember one of the things that's very interesting at that time, and I wish musicians could really quickly learn that because we
Yes.
had to learn it quickly at that
Yes.
time, is that at some point money ended. So we didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
And Lindelene, I remember we had a meeting, we were in Durban, and the shows went doing very well. So he said, we've got two things we can do for you right now. We can't pay you. I think the best thing we could do is to give you royalties. What do you think? I think everybody was like, no, we want, but eventually said, okay, let's settle for royalties. So as a result, we still get a little bit of money from.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
That is so
from
cool.
That is
Joyous
so
even
cool.
now. Yeah.
Especially for them to be
that
so
open
forward thinking as well.
You know, that's
Because I mean, it's always a struggle
yeah.
when it comes to artists and royalties. So
Exactly.
for them to actually think, that much ahead.
Yeah, I will forever be grateful for that because it had to teach us two things: the business
Yeah.
side of music
Yeah.
and the artistry as well. So,
yeah. And then you did obviously Joyous up to about Joyous 6.
Yeah.
And by that time, I think Joyous 6 already there was Swazi Dlamini back then.
Swazi joined us from 5.
From 5.
from
Four or
Yes.
5. Yeah, Swazi Dlamini's Nogu Kanya was with us.
Yes, Vicky Vilagazi.
Vilagazi was in 1 as well.
Yes.
But Unokanya wasn't from 1, right?
She was.
Was it later?
She was from 3. Yeah, I think
Somewhere
from 3,
there. Yeah, I think so. Okay.
And by the time it's Joyous 6, already by that time you have established, okay, this is not just an event.
Yeah.
This is now.
It is bigger than that.
This is bigger than
we're
that.
booked and busy.
We're booked and we're getting busy and so forth. But then you decide, okay, Joyous 6 is my last project.
Yeah.
What made you arrive to that decision?
One of the things that I was afraid of, I think is I'm learning it now.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to see it with my character as you grow, because as you grow, then you're studying teaches you something about your personality traits. So I realized one of the things that affected me a lot was rejection. I didn't want to be rejected before I reject you.
I get you.
So you had to do it first.
I've never been fired.
Got
In
you.
fact, I've never been dumped. Come and
Got
think
you.
of it.
Yes.
So I had to move before I received that letter, because that letter began to come. We began to see people getting the letter. We regret. But one of the things I did at that time was that I worked very closely with Mtunzi. I was a musical director, but unscripted. So I would be the one doing musical directing from Family Factory to Joyous Celebration. But I then also, because I love jazz a lot.
Yes.
And then I started going into doing a lot of jazz. So I had to choose between. I would be a church musician. I'll be there every Sunday in church, but then I'll start doing jazz music as well. So I concentrated on both sides. I needed knowledge, so I started working a lot with jazz musicians. Babu Temba Mkhize, Sibongile Khumalo, Gloria Bosman, Judith Sipuma, and a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, many people don't know this. When you listen to Tanai by Human Second, there's that Sutu thing, that rap. That's me actually doing that.
Oh,
Is that you?
It is. It was very
Excuse
fun.
me.
Yeah,
So you are quite talented, not just in gospel music.
Yeah, I think based on my studies.
Yes,
Because I loved. I'm still passionate with jazz. I love jazz. Jazz is my goal.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Because when obviously we've been to tons of Hughes live performances,
Yes.
he would do that himself. So in your mind, you would think that that's him.
No, and how it happened actually, I think because I used to be very funny. Then growing up is kind of mellowed me down.
I like that. I used to. Okay.
So I would get into studio and just cause chaos. So I was doing that playfully, and they said, "Just stay there, just do that,
Continue being yourself."
Yeah, just do that, and that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so awesome.
I'm interested in the issuing of those letters, Nkosem. So did it get to that point where? Because I mean, I've always wondered, Uguti, how does Joyous select people for each of the projects? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So does it get to a point where for each project they select Uguti, okay, you're gonna make it for this one, you won't make it, and all of that?
Yeah, but because Joyous really started from church, if you think about it, many of the people who were there were church musicians. So we were selected from church. But as everything else, you realize that people grow.
Okay.
I think my statement continuously, and it will forever be, is pivoting.
Yeah.
And they did it very well, because there'll be new musicians coming in all the time. There are new singers who are coming in with better skills and better understanding. So they'll get singers from there. So churches will usually, and we used to struggle a lot with churches at that time. I remember my home church, they had to sit me down for the longest of time because they were not sure what we were doing. And I remember this one lady saying,
I get it.
you're going to be bringing the demons from outside and be on stage.
okay.
So I had to sit down, I think.
And say, this is gospel, guys.
Yeah, So it took us a long time for us to really get that fellowship with churches and Joyous Celebration, because a lot of times people used to think Joyous should be a worship team group. And we had to redefine that. And
But when pastors afraid that you are taking their musicians and then
I think that,
they're going to be very fearful. You know? I think there's another topic that needs to be spoken about when it comes to musicians and pastor.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, musicians are the second best known people in church.
Yeah.
And that could really cause a little bit of controversy. It's something that really still needs to be spoken of when it comes to worship and the word. So some of us really had to learn. And I thank God for that season, because it really taught me the parts of understanding the word part and understanding the musical part. So I understand the relationship between the two very well, because I've been on both sides.
Both sides, yes.
So I thank God for that space. It taught me a lot.
And in terms of studies, obviously, you are growing, obviously, in the music industry and so forth. At what point did you join these groups having gone to school already? I heard you talking about keyboard.
Yeah.
Or did that happen in the process of you doing music with the groups?
It was in the process of me doing
process,
music.
yes.
Yeah. It's an interesting take, because it then leads me to TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we're going.
For some reason, I feel like I've been favored by God. And I'll tell you how even TV came about, because then we had a group called Redeemed.
Yes.
Redeemed started from a group. We used to be 10 in that group. It was called Friends. And all of us really studied music, and we loved music from that point. And we used to say we would sing for fat cakes. Some of us gained weight from that experience. We would go stand at the corner of the store and sing. Nabum Jakes, the producer right now, Bafana Nkosi, and all of us would stand at the corner and sing. And eventually we were 5 in Zoe Bible Church.
Okay.
So we then started our group from the worship experience in church. Because all we've been was just musicians from church, worship team. And that's how Redeemed was started. We were 6 in Redeemed. KK was part of Redeemed at the time. And we knew KK from Joyous Celebration. So the first albums, I think 2 of them, KK was there. So that's how Redeemed was started. So how TV then happened is that we went to shoot for Gospel Gold. So we get there. That story is interesting story. We
to shoot for gospel as in auditions?
Not auditions.
It's already...
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For shoot for the program. So we get there. So we get there and we are singing. After we sing, I think the producer was Tennyson Legeta. I don't remember with who, and Sarangoben. And they said, it's Tabete now. And they said to me, stand there, don't leave. Everybody can leave, just stand there. So I'm standing there, I'm wondering what's going to happen. Now. And then Rami Chweni came. And they said, stand there and pretend as if you're producing or you are presenting the show. I've never presented in my life. So I'm standing there and they say, let's action. And they came and I was so scared. I could not even say my name.
But you were just recording just a few minutes ago.
Because it was singing.
And you were unconscious as well.
In company of others, I suppose.
So story for another. So I'm standing there. Here I am with the star. She's been doing this thing, and she's flowing, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Story for another. And then eventually they said, no, fine, we'll get somebody else. I think they targeted about 3 people. It was me. It was the late Nezimu. And then it was Keke afterwards. Luckily, I think they were probably going for a face. So Keke originally got the job. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
How they didn't, or maybe didn't agree with the contract or so.
Did they audition him as well?
They auditioned him as well, but I wasn't there when the audition
different
happened.
Time.
Yeah, different times. So I remember then I get a call. They said, we want you to come to Pretoria. I'm like, why are you calling me to come to Pretoria? I didn't get the job. So I go to Pretoria. As we get there, they said, you've got the job, here's a contract. And that's how it started.
Oh, wow.
Luckily for us, the late Mamzana Nelembogazi was there with Tennyson. So we had to shoot about 4 episodes with them so that they can really teach us the ropes. And then from there, we took over with Lerato Moloi to do it. I will never forget those days. In fact, if there's any person I'll forever be grateful for allowing me into the media space would be Sarah Tabete.
Nkube,
Because I
yes.
was messed up trying to do that. I remember my episodes would be cut all the time because I could not flow. I really could not flow. And
It was one of those where they have to piece things together now.
you know what I mean? So she found a speech therapist for me. That guy
Yes.
sat with me for about 15 minutes.
Wow.
Taught me where to speak from. And that's when I began to realize that there's a relationship between singing and speaking, actually. So they taught me how to get to that space and how to speak. And from there, I was a star. So eventually, if we were to shoot the show, and it show for 1 hour and we're late, they'll say, no, remain, and I'll shoot the whole thing in 15 minutes. You know, that's how I got to then understand
Oh, wow.
TV.
I mean, I'm amazed by the patience.
Yeah.
You know, that they had, because usually people will want people who already are there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
fine-tuned.
That was really amazing.
It taught me a lot that when certain things are yours,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that will happen.
when something is yours, it's going to be yours, no matter what it takes. And I've learned that when grace is upon you,
Yeah.
story for another
So
day.
it's no, it's story for today. there's no other day. But I want us to talk a bit about, because let's be honest. Hi guys, Gospel Gold was huge.
Gospel Gold was
At that
the
time-
only
Understand.
gospel
At that
television
time.
gospel
Yeah.
program in
9
South
o'clock.
Africa.
Listen,
9
For
o'clock.
the longest time.
Longest of time.
guys, if you're a presenter, dream yakho nje would be Gospel Gold.
There were two things that would happen at the time. Of course, for gospel music, it was Gospel Gold or Gospel Times at night.
Yes.
So we occupied the Gospel Gold during the day, and then there'll be Gospel Times
Yes.
at night.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's either that, or you'd be doing TV presenting for this
Yes.
other Selma Tunzis and them. But we were the thing of the gospel.
No, it was the
music.
thing. It was the thing. How many seasons were you there for?
Oh my word! I think from 2006 until 2009 or 10, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there. Yeah.
Sure.
So for a
Phela,
long time.
and also nje, generally, SABC used to launch
Yeah.
carriers of
That's
people.
true. Yeah.
Because that was the only
Yes.
television
Yeah.
platform,
Yeah.
you know, those days.
Exactly.
And
So
I
you-
mean, if
you-
you're on SABC,
Yeah.
in our case, black people,
Prime.
if you are on SABC 1,
You've made it in life. What are we looking for, guys? I've arrived.
Done.
But how was it for you in terms of your? Because I can imagine, guys.
your brand, yeah.
At that time, SABC will elevate your brand.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
you won't
Would
believe.
launch it.
And
and
it was the
elevate.
scariest thing because as we walk into the SABC, there was a huge mural.
Yes.
Yes.
But
yes.
we used to have the biggest poster
Yes.
of our show.
Yes.
So that thing stayed for years in there. So as you walk
Yeah.
in, will be the first thing you see.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, it was a scary season, but it was interesting because I'm a very private person. It allowed me to get into that space where you'd be known. Yeah, it was not easy, and I'd like to think I'm a little bit socially awkward. So yeah, so
You can't afford that there.
yeah, so it gave me that thing to probably get out of myself. It taught me a lot. I had to also learn to compartmentalize my relationships and things that are around me.
Yeah.
Things that are sacred and things that you want people to know. And I think that's how I had to learn to really know what should be private and what should be publicized. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And obviously, as you grow and you outgrow, you know, certain things, you outgrow music, you're still involved with music, right?
But right now, not so much.
Not so much, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not so much.
Why is that?
I think it goes back to I've got a keyboard at home, so I still sit and worship that way.
Yes.
I like doing that, but I feel like as you grow, there's certain things you really want to put out because there could be a lot of confusion with what you're doing right now. I'm not even talking about the brand. I'm talking about purpose and assignment.
Got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you an interesting story with me. This is what happened with me. So I then started getting invitations to come minister with the word.
Yeah.
And I'll get there, I'll sing. And I'll realize that I would be singing throughout the whole sermon. And for some reason, I felt God was saying to me, I want to shut this thing that you are relying solely upon because you're not
Safety
developing
net, safety
the
net,
way,
yeah.
the safety net.
Yeah.
And second thing also, I remember when God assigned me to, start ministering, I said, don't worry, I've got fame already. I've got this thing
I can do
that I
this,
already
yeah.
have. So we
Yeah.
can work from that step.
Yeah.
And I could hear God saying to me, I really want to get rid of your name because it has become an idol. And music also became an idol for me. I used to think, but I'm doing the purpose and the will of God by just standing there and singing. But I wasn't, because there was a big assignment for me to do other than just music. So I had to choose. I had to choose between the love of my life and purpose.
Yeah.
And purpose then took over. And I've never regretted it since.
Yeah.
So I still go back to music from time to time, but it's I had to make a choice. And sometimes we get stuck into two doors.
In between.
And it's a lot. I've seen a lot of musicians struggling with that.
Yeah.
Where you really are broken.
Yes. We were actually talking about that. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, we were speaking yesterday.
We were speaking yesterday about
at another church. Yeah.
about when a pastor is a musician and a pastor, sometimes the audiences confuses that.
Yeah.
Where instead of calling you for your purpose now,
Exactly.
Of being a ministering the word of God, they will always
still
call you
call
to
you.
come sing.
Yeah.
We want Stephen to come.
And now you kind
but
of feel
not
like,
Pastor Stephen.
No,
we want
Yes.
Stephen. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
And I'm so intrigued. I mean, for you to actually talk about that, because it was something that was in our minds and we were talking about it, as how do you break away from that?
My favorite Bishop Benjamin Dube.
Yeah.
You rarely see him invited to come preach.
That is
Strange.
so true.
Yeah, he's constantly.
That is so true.
But and maybe his assignment is dual, but I don't think we're all given
People
the
are not the
same
same.
grace. And I think it's important to understand the grace, because you could overstay a space that you're not supposed to be in. And it used to be good today or yesterday. Give us this day our daily bread.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we can get stuck
It's
in
possible.
one phase of our life?
It's very possible.
Or is it possible that sometimes God uses something as an entry point for you,
Yes, as a
but not
stepping
for you
stone.
to stay?
Not to stay there. And music really, if you don't pivot I've never seen myself as a solo artist to start with.
Got you.
Also maybe based on my personality,
I was actually going to ask you, you've been in so many groups.
but I've never done anything solo.
Yeah.
I guess it's a personality thing. Maybe it's something that we'll speak about as we go. But I realized that my personality really, I didn't like spotlight that much. I was okay with doing everything for themselves. I love producing. I loved writing songs for people. I like playing keyboards for people or doing backups. But I'd never seen myself standing and singing. Not maybe because it wasn't God's purpose, but it probably had to do with my personality at that time.
Gotcha.
You know, But strangely enough, the word allows you to stand in front of the people by yourself.
By yourself. No one can accompany you there.
And with that, you get the courage like you've never seen. There are pastors that when you meet them one-on-one,
They're horrible socially.
horrible socially. You but when they get on stage, they are totally
Who
different.
is this person? But I'm keen on, it also takes a certain personality to be in a group.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as much as you said you have not done an individual project, you've preferred the group, but I also know that there's people who will not make it in a group because the groups are not for everybody.
Exactly.
I'm curious in you. I mean, you have survived so many groups.
Yeah.
That's why we always see these groups breaking up and all of that, because
Pursuing solo careers.
it's actually not easy to work in a group.
You realize that groups also they go with the personality trait. There's a personality that drives a person towards understanding the spotlight when it's on them.
Yeah.
So it's a story for another day when you are creating a group of superstars. That's why a lot of these groups that started from the superstar point of view, they never survive. Yeah, because each and every one of them
Is
is
a
a
star.
brand
Wants
and
a
is a star.
spotlight.
Yeah.
For themselves. So who leads?
Sure.
Bobby Brown in
Yeah.
for those who are
Yes.
old, Bobby Brown could not stay with New Edition.
New edition now.
It's funny now that he's there now.
Yeah.
I guess he had to outgrow the spotlight.
Yeah.
Sure.
And there's a point, obviously, you outgrow things, you outgrow the music and so on. And then you pursue the call of God on a more sort of full-time basis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What does that involve? Does that involve starting a church?
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, ministry for me found me. I didn't find it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how. When I was still doing music, at some point music was amazing.
Yeah.
I had everything I needed to do. Actually got married because of music. It was good. We found each other in
in
worship
music.
team with a wife. And
Yeah.
then we got married. She got married to the star. I was
Yeah.
doing gospel gold at that time. And then at some point I could feel the call of God. But I was struggling. This is where my struggle was. I was struggling between letting go of the music and doing ministry full time. So I was broken between the two. A broken man in ministry is a broken man at home.
Sure.
And at some point, I had to lose everything. I lost everything. I went back home, lost everything. Remember, my house got sold in auction.
Yeah.
I had to lose the house in auction. Went through auction, lost my
Was
family.
your wife with you at that time?
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I think it was very interesting. If you were to ask me back then, I would say she left me because I lost everything. But she left me because I didn't have direction. It's a struggle to follow a man that doesn't know where they're
Oh my
going.
God.
And that happened with me because I was just excited to be still on stage, which is another thing. You see, there's a difference between Stephen the man and Stephen the boy.
Yeah.
But Stephen the man was still attracted to the things that Stephen the boy needed.
Gotcha.
You know, Stephen the boy chased after things for 3 years.
Yeah.
How do you let go of things that you're chasing after 3 years?
It's difficult.
So yeah, so there I was still there, hoping music one day will sibuz do popa, you know, so thinking that kuzo popa came one day in music, but it never really happened. And as a result, you're expecting certain things to come, but you don't know what they are. That was my thing. So chasing after ghosts also, you know, the things that you used to have yesterday. So you're struggling to let go of those. I had to go back home, so I lost everything.
Sure.
Yeah. And it was in that season where God found me and ministry to a certain degree started to happen. And I lost confidence. I'll stand there. When the anointing hits you, it becomes, you're turned from the natural into the supernatural. You don't even know how did this happen. And that's exactly the story of my life. So I found myself there. Found myself working in the hospital as a chaplain because I had to study chaplaincy as well.
Yeah.
I studied chaplaincy. From there, then I studied therapy because in hospital, then I could see there's a space there, there's a gap there. So that's how I studied. And then I found myself as a therapist. And then it was in me doing therapy that I found congregations from there. People who come and said, but there's something different about you. We understand that you're doing therapy, but you're doing it outside of just being a therapist. There's something more. And that's how my ministry really was founded now. Then I began to do ministry from that point of view, and it worked. And then I joined the College of Bishops and worked with different ministries from that point. But it's now that I'm properly settled in ministry and I'm happy.
You are
that's
in
so
peace
cool.
now.
Yeah.
Don't you think, I'm actually just listening to you talking about how you've lost things.
Yeah.
And part of me wants to say God needed to strip you of all those things that you became very familiar with.
Yeah.
So that when you serve him, you really serve him not dependent
On the name.
all these things. And your name even.
Yeah. I think, and I was even thinking about it as I was coming here. You know, a lot of us really glorify loss. We think Christianity really is truly about loss. It's not about loss. And at times we get stuck in that. I think the thing that I live by right now, it's four acronyms that I love. It's called RICE. It's one. So RICE is RICE. So R, which is my number one, and I like that part. The R is the reward. What is the reward of whatever that you could be doing? And a lot of times we don't understand what is it that rewards us. Even with the walk of God, we follow God, and our reward is heaven.
Yeah.
And that's why we think we can be good here on earth because we want to go to heaven, but we lose a lot of salt or being a salt here on earth. And that's exactly what happened with me. We glorify losing. We glorify being stuck in one place because we think we're being consistent. But in truth, we are not discerning. We have lost discernment. We have lost the reality of where God wants us to go to. So I really had to then learn, what is it that God wants me to discern? God had to strip me also of what I used to think I was good at so that he can then clean me and clean my ears. You know, when the Bible speaks about circumcising of ears, it speaks about that. Is it possible that we could be stuck in hearing the first voice of God, but we don't understand the guiding voice of God that takes you from point A to point B. Because if he's a shepherd doesn't sleep in one spot. Shepherd pivots from one place to the second place. But I had to learn that. I had to learn to understand the voice of God in the middle of the wilderness. Because when you can identify the voice of God in the middle of the wilderness, then you know there's hope.
Yeah.
But when you don't hear it, becomes another thing. And I realized that I understood religion. I think my first episode with Mo, and we're talking on Facebook, we're talking about fatherhood and spiritual fatherhood, because I was very rebellious. Because you see, a person who gets stripped of certain things, they will fight with things that used to probably keep them, but it did not give them what they wanted to get. Because most of us get into ministry because there are things we think we're supposed to have. So I was disappointed. I was angry because here's the thing: I served for 25 years.
Yeah.
And there was no reward. It stripped me, it broke me, and I was angry. I was bitter. I lost everything that I had. In fact, some of us, it's easy to say we're angry at people, but truth be told, I was angry at God too. I served you for 25 years. I've got nothing to show right now. So for some reason, that allowed me to have a meaningful relationship, because it's amazing how we get spoiled and so we are not even asking God, but we are crying. I remember just recently I was having a conversation with God. I said, but why are you not giving me 1, 2, 3, 4? And he asked me a simple question. He said, did you ask me? Or were you complaining about it? Because there's a difference. So I had to learn that. I had to learn very quickly to understand certain things that God allowed me to deal with. Some of the losses of the things that we are losing, here's the reward for me, was that I had to learn what my personalities allowed me to have. You know, it's very easy for a person to go into ministry because it suits their ego. Everybody wants to be a father. But nobody wants to know how to grow things. We don't understand the process of growing things. The apostolic call upon every church member is to know how to grow things, how to process things. But I had to quickly learn about my personalities that were really blocking me from hearing what God was saying. And also my personality. I'll make an example about what I'm talking about. And I failed in that.
Yeah.
I became a man of God at home. And I drove everything with ministry, but I failed to understand why was I doing it. And secondly, I was leaving my family behind, driving the point of ministry across, and said, you'll find me. But it had got nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with my fear and fears. Because in most cases, some of us are stuck in certain things based on fear more than anything else.
Yeah.
Our relationship with God at times is based on fear. And that's exactly what happened with me.
So do you think perhaps that's what led to ultimately your divorce?
Yeah.
The fact that I'm quite stuck on that concept of being a man of God at home.
Yeah.
Because at home your wife needed a husband.
Yeah. And he wasn't there.
Not the man of God.
He wasn't there. Let me show you what I'm learning this. It's an amazing thing. So I was talking about on one of my episodes that I do from time to time. So I was talking about love languages and the psychology of love languages.
Yeah.
Because there's a psychology behind a love language.
Yeah.
One, I didn't know what love languages were. Let's start there. So that's
Like
the
most
story.
black people.
Many people. In fact, I would ask the question, do you know what a love language is? And they say, I know. But they would not really understand.
Yeah.
One, I didn't understand what her love languages were, what my love language were, else also. But even in that story, because there's a sermon right there, how I developed my personal love languages that really were based in fear. I'll make an example. There's what we know as psychology as number one. It could be known as what we know as personality or attachment traits, where someone is attached to certain things. And it could be based on fear. It could be based on wanting to escape. So if you've been having a lot of traumas, and I had traumas at home. When my family broke, I had traumas that we didn't deal with.
Yeah.
You know, and here I am carrying the baggage of those traumas to my marriage. So the first part, you'd have those who their attachments when it comes to trauma. It's free. They're free. They could love. They could be there. They could hold you. And then there's anxious attachment. And there's this one, which is an avoidant attachment. And that's exactly who I was. An avoidant attachment. I did not want to speak about things. I didn't want to speak about goals at home. So if she were to come and say, what is our goal for the next 5 years? I did not know. So avoidant attachment would make me want to run away, not speak about things, not confront things. I was never confrontational at that time. But funny enough, I'll be confrontational outside. But I would never be confrontational where it was needed. So I did not have a drive. I lost the drive. I lost the vision. I lost the direction of where I wanted to go. But the only thing that I had was I still have the word of God. I can preach. It will make things happen. And that's the very same thing that happened with music. So I took it to home, took it to church. So losing allowed me to get that part because God then had to expose me to my traumas that I didn't really deal with. I had not dealt with. I carried them. Some of us didn't even go to a proper marriage counseling or premarital counseling. I think I attended 2 sessions.
And they were enough for you to get married. Because you were in a hurry.
And often, by the way, and this is a point that I think people need to take cognizance, especially pastors, with premarital counseling. It's some pastors, they do it themselves, and some have got people from within the congregation. But really, nobody really knows how to do it.
That's
You know what I mean? Nobody really knows how to. Somebody is going to talk about communication. We are communicate. We are And you think, okay, can we bring that down? What does that actually mean?
How does it look like?
How does that look like? You get what I'm saying? Does it take into consideration the kind of person I am, the kind of person she is?
Exactly.
All of those
Does
kind
it
of
even
things.
take into account your traumas?
Does it take into account your traumas, your background, where you come from, and so on? This is something very big, and obviously we always want to emphasize on this because of our own ministry. Nopindi and so forth. It's interesting when you say, you and no wonder you did about 2 and you felt like, okay, no, that's enough. I can go ahead.
Exactly. But I think for me the most interesting part about that is that a church is the only place that doesn't mean they are, that can bring the psychology and the spirituality aspect together.
Okay.
The day we find a meeting point between the two, I can assure you we could become an institution.
Yes, in the
marriage,
real
in
sense.
a proper way. Because yes, we could be talking about prayer and it is necessary. But what's the psychology behind the two people that are coming together? Typical example, if I'm an avoidant usually attracts the anxious ones.
Yeah.
And an anxious one, the more you run, the more they want to grab onto you. And they don't realize that they're thinking they are having you, they're containing you. But when that happens, an anxious one constantly wants to run away. Give me my space. They want their space. They want their...
You feel suffocated.
Yeah, I feel suffocated.
in your,
Any proper love that is poured on a broken vessel hurts the broken vessel even more.
Yeah.
One, because you don't know how to contain it, you don't know how to maintain it, you don't know how to keep it in a proper way. We then could be also suffering from rejection. And whether you pray about it, it's important to know what's the point of your rejection. Where does it come from? Because a rejected soul, when they're loved properly, they're questioning why they're loved properly instead of questioning why they're not loved properly. So when it's poured upon them, it's, why are you buying me flowers? What did you do?
What's the catch?
What did you do?
You're up to something. But you mentioned earlier that rejection is one of your biggest fears. I mean, you even ran away from Joyous before you could get the letter, so you don't get rejected. It rather makes me kind of think, Uguti, when you get married and you are that person that fears rejection, you get into a marriage and you kind of like, things are too good here.
So you question stability.
Yes. Even when something is supposed to be good, but you don't even want to enjoy the good. Because
Corner wrong.
off.
That's some corner off. And that happens a lot. So you find two people who are truly meant for each other. But when they're meeting from that point, because remember also she's coming from another part. Two of these people are coming from 2 universes. In fact, trauma, it's the story. Rejection is the second phase. There's trauma first.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I've come to realize in my studies that trauma really doesn't start when you experience it. Trauma starts from even how we were born. Trauma, some of the traumas, 65% of the traumas that we have really doesn't come from us.
Yeah.
It really comes from our parents or where we come from, sometimes even from their great-great-grandparents. I realized my detachment really came from my mother's traumas.
Yes.
And she did not need to teach me that.
Yeah.
But it was birthed through my DNA. Somehow it was passed from our genetic codes to another generation.
Yeah.
So until you understand what is in your genetic codes, and I think it takes us as the believers to understand my genetic codes so I know what is it that I'm passing on to the next generation. Because if we don't understand the issues of our trauma, most of my traumas really came from my parents, from my mother and from my father.
Which is understandable if you think about how things are passed from generation to generation anyway.
Yeah.
And that is not only talking about, passing the good side of that family, but it's even passing the bad side of it.
Let me show you an interesting story. It could take forever talking about this. My mom and my father, when they met, both of them had sons.
Outside of them.
Okay.
So I'm the third born, but I'm the firstborn.
Yes, get you.
Makes sense,
So when I come in, I become the firstborn. But they've seen a boy before. And then my sister, she's very good in marriage. You must meet her one day. So my sister comes after me, a year after me. When she comes, I literally had to start school with her because I had to look after the princess. They have seen males before.
Okay.
So when we come back with reports, me and her, and we're putting them on the table, my parents have seen this before. So they'll be excited. Yeah, fine. Oh, princess has done well. As a result, that's how I was never self-driven that much as a child because nobody celebrated me. 2, as a result, my love language became words of affirmation, but I didn't know that's exactly what it was because I would follow anybody that says you're doing well. I'm proud of you. I love you. So that, if it's not there, yet I can't identify what it was. It made me feel like something is missing, but I didn't know what it was. So I'll chase after a love language called words of affirmation, but miss a lot of things that are important that I needed at that time.
Because growing up, you'd never had that.
Yeah. So eventually it then had that trauma. I had that trauma experience of things I didn't hear. Because at times, let alone the traumas of accidents and fights and whatever, which some we had, and my parents were very quiet. And I've never had them fight. Ever. But at some point, you're going to see them separate. That happened. We didn't know what was wrong.
That messes with your mind.
It messes with your mind.
Yeah.
Part of me moving to Soweto was also running because my mom comes from Soweto and my dad was from Tembisa. So from time to time, they would always have breaks. And then I realized I'm not going back to Tembisa again.
Yeah.
When my mom chooses to.
Yeah.
But it was trauma. So you can then imagine where the avoidant then came from.
Yes.
Came from that trauma. So when you are sitting down with somebody and you don't understand that psychology,
Yes.
you've prayed, you've been counseled to prepare you for marriage, but it didn't pre-deal with what you came from and where you came from. So
And isn't that just how, love is? I'm talking about committed love. Often, see, the day you get married, you don't just marry the person that is standing in front of you. You also marry that person's traumas.
Yeah.
You also marry that person's history, where that person comes from. Often we want to deal with the person outside of where they come from, outside of their traumas and so forth.
Yeah.
And we often we fail to love one another out of those traumas.
Yeah.
And I know that it sounds like a big responsibility.
But it's a necessary responsibility.
It's a
very
necessary
important,
responsibility. Can you talk to that?
I think you said a very important word. You spoke about commitment. Usually marriage is a commitment.
Yeah.
But here's a question. How do you commit over something that you don't know what you're committing into?
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. You might not really get to know the person in full. That is why marriage by itself is a learning process.
Yeah.
Where you're daily learning the person who themselves don't know who they are, by the way. I could know my trauma, but the excitement in marriage is about people rediscovering. When two people, I would say this when I'm speaking about men and women when they're meeting, that when a man and a woman are standing in front of the pastor and they're saying I do, they're not saying I do to the same things.
Yes, that is so good. Yeah,
To the same things.
It's not,
that is so good.
Even through sickness and pain, it's not the same things because men and women really don't get sick the same way. So,
or maybe they don't look at those things the same way because of where they come from.
exactly. I'll make an example. We as men, when we are raised with someone was asking me, can a man stop being a player? No. A man doesn't know how to stop being a player. We are developed as players from childhood. I'll make an example. What's your first toy? To be a car.
Yeah.
To be a car. So we're chasing after score.
Yeah.
You know, we're playing marble. I've got science to prove I used to play marbles.
Yeah, I have them too.
So we'll be playing marbles. We are taught to keep the score. He loves Sundance right now. He's a very proud man right now.
You know him very well.
It's the score behind the whole
Yes,
thing.
yes.
And my team is messed up. And that's how we
Which one
suffer
is
from
yours, by the
loss.
way?
Yeah.
Don't
Is
say
it the same as mine?
Nah.
Sweetheart, is it the same as mine? You know me.
Let's just say it's the Soweto United.
Yeah.
Okay, at least we are
Just a
both from
better-
Soweto.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so.
Oh,
so
I can see with your hanky. Okay. No, things
Don't
are
judge
bad.
me.
Things are bad.
Don't judge me. So eventually when we get to that space, we are in that place of where we are growing as players.
Yeah.
So you're starting from the marbles to we're standing at the corner, I'm done, and we're lying. That's a score. We go to work. We're not really looking in growth in terms of how can I grow. We're looking at numbers. How much am I going to be paid from doing this? We get into even a relationship. We are now getting married. And the question is, do I let go of the score of the things that I've achieved? I mean, the car you buy, you're not going to drive 375 or 60, but you're 340. Nobody drives to 340, but we're buying it because
That
it is a
one, you're speeding
340
with
thing.
340.
Yes.
And whereas the woman is raised maternally,
Yeah.
her first doll is
Yeah.
toy is a doll.
Soft stuff.
Plays
Soft
home.
stuff.
Yeah.
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 She has even read the
She's
story of Cinderella,
cooking.
happily ever after.
Yeah.
So by the time they're standing in front of the pastor, she's happily ever after. She has arrived in her mountain.
yeah.
He has arrived.
Problems.
Yeah, he has arrived in a place of nowhere. Do I let go of the score?
Yeah.
Do I let go of the 5 to now stay with the 1? And they haven't been taught that. Because that 1 can produce more than the 5 that you have left outside.
Yeah.
But now you are still hooked to the 5 that is outside.
Yeah. No, I think you are so right. We are brought up differently. Not that we have to be brought up the same, obviously,
Yeah.
because we're men and women, but we start from a different footing,
Exactly.
men and women.
Yeah.
Women starts from a footing of she already knows what she's getting to a
Yeah.
marriage to do.
Yeah.
But now you are marrying to someone who's probably below you in terms of
Yeah.
their understanding. But before we run out of time, I want us to go through or two, because I think I remember when you made that announcement at some point that you are separating with your wife. And now I'm thinking from a person who obviously is a born-again Christian and known at that time. How difficult was that? Because, I mean, let's agree, there will be a lot of things and a lot of noise.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that people would say, "Hi, man, you could have done this, you could have done this," you know?
I think for me the biggest trauma in that really is what you now know. How you could have done it right
Okay.
Okay.
at that time.
Okay.
That sometimes,
Hindsight.
it could keep you stuck. Also, oh man, and then you try to band-aid the wounds that really don't need to be band-aids.
I get you.
You try to resolve issues that really don't need resolution. That's how we really get stuck. I think for me, one of the biggest things that truly helped me, and I'm grateful and I continuously live by that quote: keep the things that are private and sacred.
Private.
I did it that eased my attention when it comes to that
Yeah.
because people didn't really know.
We didn't know. I
yeah.
didn't know until we spoke on the phone.
Yeah.
There was this one time when I called you.
Yeah.
And we were speaking, I think at the time we were talking about the marriage dance somewhere and all. And then you actually said to me, hey, this is what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have a different view because I could kind of pick up. Sometimes you often read a post omuntu kahle.
Yeah. well, ufundeka.
You pick up that man. What is it saying exactly?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, some of the posts, because one of the things that social media will do for you, it keeps records. By the way, our bodies keep records too.
Absolutely.
But the interesting part about that is that I review my posts now and realize from what point was I writing them from.
I get you.
Most of them I was writing them from the rebellion, the hurt, the pain, even though I didn't say anything.
Yes, that's true.
Have you gotten into a house where people are just fighting emotionally, and you can tell?
You can tell.
The people have been fighting. I was stuck in that emotion, and healing is an interesting thing because when we are speaking about healing, we think healing is you're totally freed from whatever that problem was. But I realize that from time to time we continuously heal together. Or there are places where you must know. One of the things that I'm learning in this space is that you never take a patient home.
Do not take a patient home.
Yeah. There are things that are meant for your hands. Don't give them to your heart.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
What an incredible time.
Oh man. My goodness. Okay, so man, look, this conversation for me, I don't know what it did for you, but certainly for me, one of the things that it has done is to, first of all, get to know you. Because as you said, I mean, we've been preparing for this conversation. We couldn't find you anywhere.
You guys have known each other for years.
We've known each other.
Come on now.
Couldn't find you anywhere, and that really, thank you for opening that window. Thank you for pulling back the curtain. For the things that you wanted us to hear and you wanted our viewers to know about. And I'm very grateful for being friends with you and somebody that, even on social media, we talk and then we often joke. I mean, Facebook these days is used for joking and so on. But sometimes you talk to people and you feel like you know them, but you don't actually know them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I really am thankful to you for, opening that window and putting back, the curtain, as it were.
Yeah.
This for me has been really sort of full circle, in terms of that relationship. So thank you very much.
Thank you for allowing me to have a therapist. This is a therapy session. In fact, therapy is about talking.
Yeah.
You realize a lot of people pay a lot of money. They pay us a lot of money just to talk.
That's
true.
So if we can have conversations like this.
You see, you just had one for free. But thank you so much.
So is everybody around us.
Awesome,
I concur. I really think this was such an amazing conversation. And a conversation to continue because I am stuck on our backgrounds and our traumas and how that impacts a relationship because being in the relationship space as we are, I have found, I know it's the same with you, Mo, one of the biggest challenges in marriages today. People are not fighting anything that they know as a couple, but they are fighting the past. They are fighting basically how your husband grew up, what kind of childhood they had. But in your marriage, you kind of find like, there's issues, but all those issues actually stems from the past.
Yeah.
If you can be able to face the past, there'll be a lot of healing, I think.
That's what deliverance is meant to be.
That's what deliverance is meant to be. Even the Christian faith. Oh my God. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my God. I don't know what you took out of this conversation. We have taken out a lot and we really trust God for, healing in your space, in your life. Don't be scared of going back. Don't be scared of looking back and confronting certain things that, you've gone through. It will help you going forward. as well, and confronting those issues head on and dealing with them and being honest, with yourself, about those issues. It will help you so that you don't take issues that you should leave behind, into a new space or even into your marriage and so on. Thank you so much for the subscriptions, and thank you so much for the likes and even the comments, and please recommend the channel to everybody you know. We really believe that the guests that come here, they do the work of God.
Yes.
For us.
Top tier.
Yeah.
And if you know anyone that you believe have got an inspiring story to be on this platform, could be yourself, could be somebody you know, please do drop us an email. It's podcast@moenpindi.com, podcast@moenpindi.com. We look forward to those emails. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For this, thank you so much.
Salute.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you for watching.